David is in Sacramento, and I've heard his testimony, and it's amazing. And the reason I asked him specifically to come and share his testimony, because I believe it's got to be something that is going to be a story that's going to be multiplied 1,000 million times over in people's lives. I just believe that there's a call of God on David. I love not only the testimony, I love him. He's amazing. I'm so grateful for you and for carrying Jesus as you carry him, David. It's awesome. And we miss you. We need to have another festival soon where we get to hang out and all celebrate. I think the next one we're probably gonna have people from everywhere, because people are so like dying for seeing something explode. But yeah, it'd be awesome. So go for it, David.
All right, you guys. Well, my name's David. I'm a brother of you guys, and through the Mo District. And I just wanted to say, right now is an absolute honor to be here to share with you guys my testimony and how I found God. I'm sorry, I was already right before all this, just watching the worship, because each song that was being sang was it was my relationship walking with Him. So it was already just building up to tonight. Like I really feel like things are going to get broken for some people, and people are going to really receive the message that I have for them. So I'm going to go ahead and pray in real quick. Abba, Shema, Shema, Ruach, Ruach. Abba, I know that you are with us, you are for us, and that you are here. You are here right now. And as I call out to you, Abba, right here, right now, with every brother and sister that has joined on this network, I ask that you open up the heavens over each and every one of us right here, right now. And you pour out of the heavens your love, your compassion, your wisdom, your grace, your knowledge, your forgiveness, your knowledge and your wisdom. And just tonight as I share, Father, I just ask that if there's anything that's stopping anyone from receiving the message tonight, Father, I ask that you would pull that. You would pull that from them and open them up completely to receive what's going to be shared with them in Jesus' mighty name. Amen. Whew. All right, you guys. Yeah, my name's David Thompson. I was born and raised in Stockton, California. I'm half Irish and half Filipino. I grew up in a household where my mom and dad used to argue a lot. My dad used to put hands on my mom a lot. He was a full-blown alcoholic. My mom worked graveyard, and she used to try to just do what she could to make ends meet. My mom would be working graveyard, and I would see my dad cheating on my mom. You know, multiple women would be at the house. So growing up, at about the age of 10, my parents had split up. My parents had got divorced, and I was going back and forth from my mom's and my dad's house as they split up. And by the age of 15 in high school, both of my parents had both moved off to the Philippines and left me behind. So I came home one day and my mother just told me, you got to find a place to stay. We're moving to the Philippines, and you need to find you a place to stay. So at the age of 15, I left. And I was homeless in Stockton, at the port of Stockton, where I used to fish for stripers, striped bass, as a means to just, that was my hustle. I fished to survive, and I used to poach fish and sell them. I was able to use friends of mine's addresses to continue to go to school. So I still continue to go to school, even though that I was homeless, but I was kind of couch surfing at the time. And in high school, I had met my my children's mother, my kid's mom, my high school sweetheart, and we were together. We were together for about 10 years. 10 years. We were married for 2, and towards the end of our relationship, I had been hiding that I was I was a full blown addict. From the age of 12, actually, I had been introduced to narcotics. So I was doing back then it was crank and smoking, marijuana and drinking, and I had hid my addiction to using narcotics from my wife. So it got really bad towards the end of our marriage, to where I had got hurt at work, snapped one of my ankles. So I was at home on bed rest, and we were arguing, and she ended up getting up and leaving. And her family was really my family. Since my family had left me, I grew into their family, and that they accepted me, and that was like my family that I held to my family, and I just loved them so much because that's all that I had of being a real family. And during that time when at that time when she had left, I went through a real. She left the house that we had just bought, and so for about 3 months, I was in depression so bad that I locked myself in this house for 3 months. I locked all the windows, and for 3 months I was basically trapped in this house. But I continued to work on this house like my family was still there, like how I was going to do when my family was there. I'm talking about sanding the floors, remodeling everything for my family to be there. 3 months into it, and I look at the house, and it's done, but I've been using drugs this whole time, and I was just alone. Everything that I lived for was gone. What I felt like I stood for, my family, everything was gone. We ended up deciding to sell the house. She wouldn't let me buy her out of the house, so I was forced to sell the house. And after I sold the house, I had multiple girlfriends. I was just, one after woman, just trying to stay afloat. I gave everything over to her. My heart was so broken. I gave everything over to her, and I started over fresh. From everything in the bank account to basically all the material things we had. Also, just even the cars. I just kept my work truck to start over brand new. I didn't want my family not to have anything, After that, I just continued to just downward spiral. Just I started from sniffing crank to now crystal meth is out, and I'm smoking crystal meth. My life completely evolved around getting high. All I wanted to do to just black out and drown out from this world was get a high. I chased the next high, a circle among circles, just surrounded and trapped by demons. And in this experience, you start to learn, that crystal meth is witchcraft and sorcery, potions. The mind control that comes along with that also. I ended up going all the way down to where I ended up with a woman that I was with, a witch that I was with, and I was using with her. By this time, my kid's mother, she had found another person that she was with also, and in my spiral, I was a very violent man. I was a very, very violent man. I ended up squaring off with her boyfriend at the time, and I broke his jaw in front of my kids. And so after that happened, out of fear because of the monster that I was, they ran. So their mom ran with the kids and the boyfriend, and they moved, changed phone numbers. I had no access to where she was, no connection to my kids. For 5 years, I went without seeing my kids, and I was going crazy. I downward spiraled to where I was demonized. I heard voices in my head. You know, the voice of suicide. The voice of suicide. It's your own voice trying to talk you into doing things. The sound of it's just like your voice. I was suicidal. I didn't care no more. So now, after no girlfriends and being homeless on the streets of Stockton, I used to just walk my routes. And what's crazy is, now that I think about it, when I was out there and I was homeless, for some odd reason, my mom used to tell me when I was a kid, she would speak to me, but it was almost like in spirit. She would say, whenever you're in the hardest of times, head for high land. Always head for high land, and you'll be safe. So for some odd reason, when I was homeless out there, I always used to sleep on the school's roof. The school was called Victory School. And this is what's crazy, is the school was on the street that the school is on. Victory School is on the Devil's Mountain, Mount Diablo in Stockton. And I used to sleep on top of that roof under the stars. And I just from there I was just down the throat, like I was homeless. So I connected with some old friends. A lot of my old friends were cartel. So like I said, I was an absolute monster. So by this time in my addiction, while I am also homeless, friends of mine that I was real close to from elementary school through junior high and high school, that were connected to the cartel, I was one of their runners. So I was a collector. I used to go to Spokane, and they had properties up there where they had women that would seduce drug dealers, that would end up staying with the drug dealers in these places that we would rent out and pay the rent for them, or that the cartel pay the rent for them. And every 6 months, I'd go up there and I'd kick in the door and pistol whip whoever and tie up whoever was in there, and I'd rob them. And I'd come back to Stockton, and that's how I was at. That's how my life was. It wasn't life at all. It had come down to that type of a lifestyle. And after not seeing my kids for so long, and I was demonized so bad that I would actually walk on the outskirts of Stockton into the farmland, and the voices in my head would tell me to go in the irrigation systems and dunk myself in there. I would walk and listen to these voices in the irrigation systems, and these voices used to just taunt me and tell me, no, you're not done. You gotta dip your face in there and cover yourself with mud. So I would cover myself with mud in my face and my whole body. And I'd walk back into town, and I'd get on the freeway. I'd walk opposite way on the freeway, just down the freeway, zombied out. And it's just crazy how, I don't know why, it's just God's divineness. I don't know why I would never get stopped or picked up or taken to jail in those kind of moments when those things would happen. And that's what I was doing. I was sleeping in parks on the side of the stadiums. So I would have a certain route. I would go and hustle up my money. I'd go to this dope house, and I get my dope, and I get high there, and I take off. Now, it's been 5 years since I have ever seen my kids. I go to the dope house to try to get high. When I go to the dope house for the first time ever, the door is open, the lights are on, nobody's in there. And I walk in, and when I walked in, I felt this crazy peace that I hadn't felt ever before come on me. And I fell to my knees in the dope house, and I called out to God. At that time, I had no clue who God was. I said, God, if you're real, I just want you to kill me right now. Take me away because I have no reason to live. If I can't be with my family, I don't want to do this no more. And I cried myself to sleep. I remember just a puddle of tears, and I was all soaked. And I got up the next morning, and nobody was there again. And I walked out. And I walked down the stoop of the staircase. And I was just gonna go take off and go on my normal route. So I started to walk the way I normally do. I was gonna make a left, and then all of a sudden I just hear this voice. This voice that was different, not like anything else. It was just, it was so calm, and it filled me with peace. It said, no, David, turn right, go that way. And so without thinking, I walked up half a block, and I looked, and my kids were out there playing. My kids were out there playing in the front lawn. God had answered my prayer. And I couldn't believe it at first because with all the drugs, I used to think I'd seen them everywhere. But I'd walk around and just run people down and kids. I always thought they were my kids. But those were my kids out there playing. And I ran over there, and I remember a promise that I had said. I was like, God, if I ever have the opportunity to say I'm sorry because of everything to their mom, if you would give me that chance, I'd do it. And so when I see the kids, I ran up there. She was scared. She threw the kids in. There was a car that was parked outside. She threw my 2 daughters in there. And that car took off, and she ran in the house because she seen me coming. And she locked the door, and she grabbed my son. And my son was he just kept walking up to the window, touching the window with his hand. And I would put my hand on the window, and I was just like, son, it's me. I love you. I just want to be back in your life. I can remember his big old eyes just looking at me. She's screaming at him, get away from the window, cussing at him. And he just wouldn't go away. He knew, for some reason, it was crazy, like he knew it was me. And I was back. From that moment, I left because she threatened to call the cops on me, but I was able to apologize. And she was scared, so I left. And I remember telling God, thank you. Like, you are real. You answered my prayer. You guys got to understand, for years I was going to this dope house, and my kids who have been missing were half a block away. God had them that close, watching over when I was lost, and all I had to do was ask him, and he showed me where they were. I just, from that point, I just remember telling God, like, I'll do whatever I need to do to just get back to them, or just whatever you want, I'll do. I had burned the bridge in my addiction with my sister. I hadn't talked to my sister in years. And all of a sudden, after I had just said that prayer, after I saw my kids, I'm walking, and then my sister's best friend sees me and says, your sister's been looking for you. Your sister's been looking for you. And I got my sister's number from her. And I called my sister up, Now, when I talked to my sister told me that they had been praying for me, and that was foreign to me because we didn't grow up like that. You know, we were kids baptized as Catholics. We didn't grow up praying. We knew nothing about praying. But she had told me that a pastor had been coming to their door saying that God keeps on telling him to come there and to pray with them for whatever it is that they need prayer for. So he kept coming, like for days, he kept coming and knocking. And finally, they let him in. They asked for prayer for me. So they were actually interceding at my sister's house, praying for me this whole time that God was calling me in when I called out to him and he answered my prayers. At that time, so I didn't want to be homeless. I was like, so I don't want to be homeless, Lord. I gotta get off these streets. My sisters had told me in that conversation, I heard about a program in Sacramento called the Salvation Army Adult Rehabilitation Program. It's a Christian-based program. It's out there 6 months. Are you willing to go? I had just told God, if you give me that, if you could, I'll do whatever. She said that for the first time. I actually cooperated with my sister. She was just like, this is crazy. Like, yeah, like no resistance. Yes, I'll go. So I got into that program. I did 7 months and I graduated over there and went into another program, which is Mather. Did 2 more years over there, all recovery based and a work program. But when I went to the Salvation Army, this is how God works. And he showed me that even with or without him, when it's up to me, he's always there. When I got into this program at the Salvation Army, the room that they put me in was right on top of the chapel, like how I used to sleep on top of the school. And I was learning about Christ as my Lord and Savior. I was learning about God. He kept calling me in closer and closer. And since then, at that time, I was able to go to the courts, apologize to their mom during mediation. When we sat in there, I apologized to their mom. And it's crazy because her lawyer was somebody who was working the program steps, who knew where I was coming from when I was making my amends to her and apologizing. They granted me a visitation, supervised visitations with the kids. And then after that, I was able to get my kids back and be with my kids. So that's just his goodness, you guys. And since then, it's all about him. Whatever he wants me to do, I'll do. He tells me to stay, I'll stay. I do want to read. I wanted to read this Psalms 40 because it really just explains my relationship with him. And 40 is a joyful salvation. So this is pretty much what it was that I went through and how he saved me. It says, I waited and waited and waited some more, patiently knowing God would come through for me. Then at last he bent down and listened to my cry. He stooped down to lift me up out of danger, from the desolate pit I was in, out of the muddy mess I had fallen into. Now he's lifted me up into a firm, secure place and steadied me while I walk along his ascending path. A new song for a new day rises up in me. Every time I think about how he breaks through for me, ecstatic praise pours out my mouth until everyone hears how God has set me free. Many will see his miracles. They'll stand in awe of God and fall in love with him. Blessings after blessings comes to those who love and trust the Lord. They will not fall away. for they refuse to listen to the lies of the proud. O Lord, our God, no one can compare with you. Such wonderful works and miracles are all found with you. And you think of us all the time with your countless expressions of love, far exceeding our expectations. It's not sacrifices that really move your heart, burnt offerings, sin offerings, that's not what brings you joy. But when you open my ears and speak deeply to me, I become your willing servant, your prisoner of love for life. So I said, here I am. I'm coming to you as a sacrifice. For in the prophetic scrolls of your book, you have written about me. I delight to fulfill your will. My God, your loving words are written upon the pages of my heart. I tell everyone everywhere the truth of your righteousness. And you know I haven't held back in telling the message to all. I don't keep it a secret or hide the truth. I preach of your faithfulness and kindness, proclaiming your extravagant love to the large crowd, to the largest crowd I can find. So Lord, don't hold back your love or withhold your tender mercies from me. Keep me in your truth and let your compassion overflow to me no matter what I face. Evil surrounds me, problems greater than I can solve come one after another. Without you, I know I can't make it. My sins are so many. I'm so ashamed to lift my face to you, for my guilt grabs me and sings the soul. So everything before that, you guys, it's everything it's been. And I can't imagine a life without Jesus. I can't imagine that. I just want to ask you guys all, do you know him as your waymaker? Do you know him as your promise keeper? If you don't, you need to. That's how you know you got a real relationship with him. Oh, well,
Praise God.
Sorry, guys.
It's all right, man. It's all right. That was excellent.
Powerful.
Excellent, David. Thank you. I could see the people there, everybody shaking their heads and pumping fists and everything. Amen.
Yeah.
There's power in that testimony, David.
Yeah.
It's right in that word after. You know, when Danny was talking about that and then David's testimony, Danny was talking about bringing that there. And then the other day, the guy with the identity, that's our identity. We bring that to places. We bring that hope. Like the Lord brought it, but now he knows that when he talks about that, think of people, listen, you got a powerful testimony. That's to change lives and set people free. And we all have that. But if we just are sharing it it's good to share it with each other because it encourages it. I love to hear that from people. But you have that to take with you out in the streets, out to people. The people need that. Mm-hmm. Now you've got his too. I know people. I know a guy. You think you're too far gone? No. Jesus can heal you. Jesus can save you. That's what we carry. That's all I was thinking about the whole time. You know, like, wow,
you
man.
Guys, yeah, you guys. I mean, literally, I have voices that would tell me to kill people. I would be behind somebody sitting on a computer, and the voices would be like, "Just choke them. You could kill them. You could drag them out to the car and dump." Just these crazy. But at those times when I would hear those voices, there'd be another voice saying, "David, that's not you." So soft when the other voice is so crazy. David, that's not you. You know, I just and since just drawn to him, no more voices. Committed to specifically, I love to go against witchcraft and sorcery. You know, exposing it. That's what my life has just been. I'm committed to him. You know, he answers our prayers, guys.
Yeah.
Yes, he does.
So Danny had to take off, but I think that's powerful. We got some powerful time for ministry. When we do our breakout, guys, share that stuff. Like, you got that to share. You have that, your testimony. And it's not, that's his salvation story. Like, now he's got great, I know you got more testimonies of how the Lord's worked because of that because of what you carried out. So share those, encourage one another, and pray for each other in the breakout groups. Encourage them to go out and share that. Find people to say that, man. God frees addicts. I've seen it, and I bet some of you know addicts. I guarantee it, in New England. God frees that and breaks that.
And there's so many things in this walk too, so it's tough, I'll every now and then somebody will want me to go speak at a meeting, but I don't speak the death of. I don't call myself, hi, my name's David. I'll never say I'm an addict. I'm a new creature. I'm a new creation. I am no longer, that person's dead and gone. You start to learn the truth in the power of the tongue.
Amen.
Anybody if anybody's dealing with at this moment like if they feel distant, if they're feeling distant, they feel like he's not moving, or they can't hear him, or you're not seeing him move, or I want to challenge you guys to go back a little. When I feel like that, what I do is I go back to that moment where I met him, where I know he was there as part of my testimony. Our God is in and out of time. He's not subject to it. You can go back in the past, and his presence is still there, right there waiting for you to grab his hand again and walk right back out into a relationship. So if you're feeling like that, if you're feeling as distant, go back in your mind. Go back within yourself to where you know he was there, and talk to him right there, and grab his hand and walk back out into where you're at. There's no gap. There's no gap. He is in us. He's with us. So I just want to share that with you guys.